All right, YouTube. I've done a couple of videos on liquidity and why liquidity is important and what it is. And I ran into a real life scenario today of why you absolutely have to make sure your liquidity is taken care of. I want to break it down for you, and we'll get into that in a little bit. My name is Jake Williams. I'm a life insurance specialist with Step Up Wealth Management. If you want to know more about liquidity or the role that it plays in an overall comprehensive financial plan, be sure to subscribe to my channel and smash the notification bell. That way you're notified immediately anytime I upload a video and you never have to miss one. So, yeah, I'm a little hot today. And at it's because somebody else didn't have their liquidity taken care of, and it's also really hit on another pet peeve of mine. And well, let's just dive into it. But first of all, I've I've got my notes written down on a sticky note today. I'm gonna try not to rant on you guys because I know it's nothing that you guys can do, nothing that you guys are responsible for, but it's something that I really get passionate about. So I had to make sure that I've got notes written down on a note card to make sure that I stay on topic today because I don't want to waste your time either. So let me put this back. So we talk about liquidity, and in the previous videos I've done, I've talked about liquidity helps you cover yourself and protect yourself from unexpected expenses, whether that's medical bills or insurance or deductibles, or you rear end somebody's car and you got to pay for it, whatever. Having liquid assets, that's cash, that's money market, that's things that you can turn into dollars in your pocket immediately when needed, helps you cover those expenses. It also helps you stay out of debt. That's the next, you know, point on the liquidity scale of what you're looking for. Helps you stay out of debt because debt can be killer. Another thing liquidity helps you do is it helps you cover your responsibilities. It helps you make sure that the things that you are responsible for get taken care of and get paid. And that's what's got me so absolutely fired up today. This morning, my wife woke me up really early because there were two dogs just running around our yard. Not our dogs. We have one dog, and he was asleep at the foot of our bed. But there were two dogs that weren't ours running around our backyard. It took us about an hour to finally wrangle these things and catch them. My wife had to leave for work before that because she's got responsibilities that she has to take care of at work. So she left, and it took me a little bit while longer, but we caught these dogs. They seemed really nice, really sweet, and a little bit scared because they didn't know what was going on. Well, long story short, we take him to the vet. We get him scanned for microchips because, of course, they didn't have collars on, so we didn't know. But we get him scanned for microchips. One of them has a microchip. Great. None of the information on it was accurate. People, if you've got something like that, whether it's a microchip for your pets or an insurance policy, make sure the freaking thing is up to date because something that's out of date does you absolutely no good. I've seen insurance policies where an ex-wife was still listed as the beneficiary. Who gets the money if you pass away and your ex is still listed as the beneficiary? Is it your wife that is actually going to have to take on the responsibilities? No, it's the ex that is still listed on the paperwork. So, strike number two. Number one, well, I guess three. First strike, they let the dogs get out. Second strike, no collars, no tags, nothing. Third strike, they had a microchip and it was so out of date. There was no address, there was no email, and the phone number that was listed no longer in service. So we can't get a hold of the people. So I take them to the local dog shelter, I drop them off. I have posted on every social media, every pet finding network, any local thing that I can think of to let people know, hey, these lost dogs, we caught them and they're now at the dog shelter being taken care of. So midway through the day, we find out, we figured out who belongs to the dogs, who owns the dogs. Great. Hey, they're at the dog shelter. Just go take care of them. And it's $20 a dog for the, processing just to make sure that you get it taken care of. What do you think they said? Oh, we can't afford that much money. So we're just going to leave the dogs there. I may have burst a blood vessel in my head at that point. Those animals are their responsibility. Those animals have been raised in a house. Those animals cannot take care of themselves. And a dog shelter, while it was better than them running around on the streets, is not a good place for those animals. But they're going to be staying there for an extended period of time now because their owner has decided that they can't cover the $40 to get those dogs back. $40. I understand. It may not be the easiest thing in the world to just come up with $40 at the drop of a hat. Things can be tight with coronavirus, the pandemic, everything else that's going on, employment, all those kinds of things. I get money can be tight. But you've got to cover your responsibilities. Living beings, whether that's children, that's pets, that's coworkers, that's spouses, living beings depend on you. And if your inability to manage causes them problems, that's on you. And I said I wasn't going to rant. I'm going to tone it back. But I saw red and I took hours. I'm posting this late because I didn't want to just absolutely blow my top and start screaming. But this is a perfect example of why liquidity absolutely has to be the first priority in your financial plan. You cannot look at anything else until you have liquidity covered. Whether that's the plans that we set up for you or the, plan in a box or plan in a book, people out there that here's how you get out of debt. There's a reason the first thing everyone says is you got to make sure you've got liquidity. I've said before, I disagree with Dave Ramsey on a lot of things. And we can get into here and there and why. But one of the things I think he's absolutely spot on about is it in his, baby steps to getting out of debt. Step number 1 is save $1,000. Think about that. His plans for getting out of debt. He doesn't ask. He doesn't look at how much debt you have. He doesn't care about what interest rates you're paying. It doesn't matter until you have that $1,000 saved up. That's liquidity. $1,000. I know it seems like a crazy amount. You don't have to get there all at once. $50 a month. If you can set aside $50 a month, 20 months, less than 2 years, you've got that taken care of. You have got to make sure you have your liquidity set. You have liquid assets that you can use when emergencies arise. If your dogs get out and you have to pay the dog warden to get your dogs back, that's your responsibility. Those animals are your responsibility. You lose your job and you have to pay to keep the lights on, pay for the heat. That's your responsibility. Unexpected things happen. Furnace dies. You blow a tire in your car. The dogs get out. Those kinds of things happen. That is life. If you've got liquid assets set aside to take care of them, you can protect yourself from the unexpected, cover your responsibilities, and avoid debt. Hey, bam, bam, bam. There are the 3 things that we just talked about with liquidity. That's what you need it for. Real life example right there. And I am going to stop before I start going just absolutely over the top and I lose my mind. but I wanted to share with you guys a real life example of the need for liquidity in everyday life. All right. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up. If you've got questions about liquidity, how you can set it up, where you should have it, what that kind of stuff means, drop me a comment down below. I might be able to answer you directly, or I might turn it into a video, but those kinds of things help. And most importantly, if you want help setting up a liquidity plan for you, for your life, for your goals, for your responsibilities, there is a link in the description below where you can apply to become my client. We go through some fact finding, then you and I sit down and figure out what you need for your life and your responsibilities with what you've got available. All right, check it out. But in the meantime, take care of your now, your future, and beyond. Thanks for watching.